Hey guys, this is National Master Kevin Yang back at it with another video. So in this game, I played our fellow friend 23 Dragons. So let's get to it. C4, knight f6, b3. Now, very simple opening. Just bring the bishop out and you'll see that I'm very calm in this opening. Queen c2, g3, nothing much. Bishop f5, I just played d3 and I'm not doing much right now. Knight d2, rook e8, and now I play the move knight h4. Just simply kicking out the bishop, hoping that maybe I get the bishop if I want. Bishop e6, very logical, going for d5. I play castles, a6, and here I play rook e1. Now, why do you think I play rook e1? Number one, e4 and f4. That is my plan. Now, obviously, it might not work, but that is my scheduled plan. That's what I'm doing right now. So after knight b4, queen b1, and now the move c5. And at this point, I was like, well, I could take on b7, right? I was like, yeah, let's do that. But I was like, no, 23 Dragons probably didn't see that. So I'll be nice. Play the move a3, and after the move knight c6, I play the move e4 and just go with my plan. And I'm going to tell you, this was a bad plan. This was a bad plan because after e4, the move rook b8 came, and you can see that after b5 and takes, it seems like black is going to have a really dominant time on the queen side. So I said, you know what? No matter what happens, I'm going for it. Even though this is a terrible plan, I'm going for it. f4. Just intending to threaten f5. So after something like b5, I was planning f5. Just simple as that. But here after f4, black can play e takes f4. And you might be thinking, what if pawn takes, right? But there's this move, knight h5. Good old knight h5, always interfering. Number one, queen takes knight. Number two, bishop d4 check and control over d4. And number three, keep an eye on f4. So in the case that this happened, I would be somewhat screwed, not gonna lie. So I believe after e takes f4, I was planning, I believe, to play, I don't know, queen a1, maybe queen a1, I don't know. But I have to say that this plan wasn't well executed at all in this game by me. But instead, I got lucky. Our 23 Dragons flinched as a result of my plan and played the move g5. This gave me a convincing way to fight back. F takes, knight g4, and I said, this knight looks a little bit misplaced. Knight can't go here, knight can't go here, knight can't go here. So I played the move knight df3. Now, I could have played h3, but I said, let's go knight df3, and I'm still not sure how this knight is going to come out of here. So then knight d4 happened, and I said h3. I was like, yep, it's time to lock him up. Knight takes b3, queen c2, just simply saying this knight has nowhere to go. So it doesn't matter if I make a move to do something else. Knight d4, knight takes d4, pawn takes, and after h takes g4, queen g5, bishop f3. Now you can see that I'm slowly liquidating, but now I'm threatening f7. Now I have the f5 square, and all is going in my favor. Rook f8, knight f5, and knight takes d6, knight f5. And at this moment, I sort of debate. Do I go knight e7 and pick up the rook? Is the rook really worth it? And I'm like, I like my knight where it is. It's very strong. So king g2, rook f6, rook h1, and I play the move rook h4. Very powerful. Queen g5, oof, tough game. Bishop takes g5. So what did we really have to see in this game? Well, it all came down because, let me tell you, the move e4 was terrible planning on my part. I forgot about this knight h5 idea that I introduced afterwards, right? Remember f4 takes, knight h5? Remember this? Wonderful idea by black that I just completely blindsided. And so I just got lucky there. So instead, number one, should have taken on b7. Number two, I probably should have went with e3 and then f4. But I didn't. I played e4 and I made a big weakness on d4, but I also, underestimated the plan, black's plan to advance on the queen side. So I guess those were two flaws of my plan. I got lucky that our 23 dragons flinched, and after takes, knight g4. Now remember, knight g4, this is going to trap the knight, right? So knight d7 has to be played. So after knight df3, you could see that I was not really touching the knight because it just was trapped and there was no way to get out of it. And so using this material edge, and this knight was really the one that helped me win the game. So you could see that I was just readjusting my pieces. The bishop played a role here, the knight plays a role here, and this is a good game. So let's go on to the next game against 23 Dragons. This game was a modern defense. So after e4, g6, d4, bishop g7, you can see that I'm playing the black side. 23 Dragons is playing the white side, just doing what white does in the modern. White controls the center, and black sets up a very, very anti-center kind of thing. Like, I play e5, but that's the one jab I make at the center. After d5, play knight e7. I play a5, very offbeat, but here's the reason why. I prevent b4. Why do I prevent b4? Is b4 triggers c5, and it sort of gives white the attack that white delivers in such a position. So I said, no, not going to do that. So after a4, I castled, and after b3, I like this structure. However, it gives me time to expand on the king side. So here I played f5. Knight f6 occurred, and this was the ultimate mistake. f4, just trapping the bishop. Happens sometimes, but bishop d3 had to be played. It was obviously not ideal, but it had to be played. So, in the game, knight d2, f4, bishop c5, and now you can see I'm rerouting my knight to d6, and 23 Dragons getting the king safe on the queen side, but I'm starting to expand on the king side. Knight h2, now I have to worry about this move f3. So I play f3 myself. Knight g4, Now, I kind of feel like knight takes g4 only benefits me, because obviously you don't want to trade when you are down a piece. You probably want to play g3, and this is not ideal because of the move bishop h3, knight f1, bishop g2, rook h2, and maybe knight e3, but close down the position. Maybe black can play h5 and bishop h6, but I feel like there's always a better chance of drawing the position down material if you simply just close down all the barriers, right? So after knight takes, queen takes, rook h3, now I force the trade. Rook g3, and you can see that I slowly use my advantage. And here I make a mistake. I forgot about this g6 pawn. It was terrible. I just forgot. And after bishop c4, I still forgot. But in this moment, knight d6, now I have rook takes e4, king d3, rook d4, and this allowed me even more. Knight f5, king takes f3, knight takes h4, with the discovery on the rook, and it was another good game. So, what really happened in this game? Why did it end so fast, right? Well, I have to say there was nothing wrong with the opening. There was nothing wrong in the setup. However, I would suggest that after a5, don't play a4, because let me show you the strategy of this opening. Black wants to play f5, knight f6, f4, h6, g5, g4. So you might be wondering, if black wants to go all in on this side, what does white do, right? White wants to play a3, b4, c5. That's the goal of white. But by playing a4, you're basically saying, okay, I want to see what you do, I'm going to do nothing, and that's going to be it, right? So it kind of felt like from the move a4 already, white wants to close the position on the queen side and sort of just watch black do his or her stuff, and just it felt one-sided after this. After getting all this play, and especially after these maneuvers, right? You could see that I was pushing on the king side, with the exception of a mistake maneuver. But in the end, I did get the job done. I have to say, this game wasn't easy, but it was made easier by one move. By this move, knight d2. Knight d2 allowed me to trap the bishop. So sometimes that happens, and it's really hard to just forget it. Sometimes you just forget those things and they slip out of your mind. You're trying to execute your plan, but they slip out. That happens sometimes. It's just a matter of getting familiar with the position, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing your game. And I really hope you enjoyed this two-part series on the games that I played against 23 Dragons. First with this very wonky sort of English opening that goes very wrong for white when white plays e4, to the modern defense where, although there's no control of the center, I sort of make a very slow creep toward winning the game. So it takes some positional wizardry, but in the end, I do pull it off. So thank you for listening, and I do hope that you enjoy the game, have fun, and always do be sure to like, comment, or subscribe.